Good morning. Welcome to my channel. This video is going to just be a little bit different today. I did my devotion this morning, and though I did read some really powerful things that I, could have shared, I really have felt lately that there's a specific thing that I have kind of tugging at my heart, and I maybe wanted to kind of find some scriptures that support it, but it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't need that, but it's a great message that I think is really helping me and speaking to me, and I did want to share that. I read the devotional from Hear His Whisper. It's pretty cool, and we're going to do that. But I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit here today, and would love your feedback in the comments if you are interested, and would love your prayer requests, and just reach out anything you want at all. We can do this together in life. But anyway, I have a question for you. And have you ever felt a heaviness, a depression or sadness or despair? Now, sometimes we have that happen, and it's because of something. Situational depression is maybe what it's called. There's something specific in your life happening that is causing you unhappiness, right? And if that's going on, okay, this still applies to you. But I guess I'm talking to another group of people primarily today, and that is when the feeling, the heaviness, you can't put your finger on it. It's an unnamed heaviness. It's a cloud. It's a fog. It's something that's just with you. And maybe you've decided that it's just part of life. Maybe you need to medicate that with whatever you need to medicate it with. Either way, many of us, myself included, have suffering inside. A lot of us have suffering. Some people don't. And you'll meet people like that, and it will amaze you that there are people that don't live this way. Well, in this video, I want to talk about how you don't have to live that way. It's very simple. I've found for myself, and this is something that I have put into practice and have seen without a doubt works perfectly. This works perfectly. And I won't hold out on you any longer. The answer to this problem is purpose. If you have a little bit of purpose in your life, you may have a little suffering. The amount of purpose you have will be directly related to the amount of suffering you experience on the inside. It's not going to cure everything. It's not going to fix your entire world, but it's going to fix a lot. A lot. Now, let's break it down a little more. For me, my life, I believed my purpose, even throughout having my family and children and being married. That was my purpose. That was my duty, was to support them and to be the best that I could for my family. And that was my purpose. So if you have a family, if you have people that you're responsible for, yes, that is your purpose. But that's sort of implied, right? It's almost mandatory. And if you don't think it's mandatory and you're neglecting those duties, well then you're going to have some suffering inside, and I think you should have some suffering inside, because that's not okay. It's not an acceptable way to go, but that's not what this video is about. But what I'm talking about is what I believed my purpose was for most of my life, starting from when I was a child, was to get a record contract and be a professional musician. This was the highest level of achievement I possibly could have. And I believed inside of myself, I believed this more than I could ever tell you, that this was the key to my whole salvation on this earth. I believed that if I could get a record contract, if I could earn that enough with my music, then everybody around me, with all the relationships that were strained, that everybody would see me differently, that everybody would treat me differently, that I would finally have the respect from people that I longed for, that I would finally have the love from people that I longed for, that I would finally be able to find peace within myself. That's what I believed my purpose was on this earth. You see, but the problem with that is that it was so much smaller than the actual purpose that God had for my life, than the actual plan that God had for my life, than the actual dream that God wanted me to believe on this earth. So when you do that, when you limit your purpose, that leads to suffering. You will not understand what's going why. You will call it you'll think your mental health is suffering. You'll think you're dealing with, and you may even go on medicine. And I'm not suggesting that anybody stop taking your medicine. There's been times when medicine has been helpful for me. I'm a supporter. I believe in it. But for some people, and use your discretion and follow your doctor's orders, please. This is not medical advice. Please, disclaimer. But for myself, what I found is I didn't need the medicine when I had a purpose, when I had a big purpose that was bigger than me, that was bigger than just me making music, but it was about the world and a community and people and people's lives and marriages and people's children, to help those people, to go to those people. It wasn't until that I started latching on to a deeper, bigger purpose for my life that the suffering began to truly just melt away. Okay, and a genuine peace that surpassed my understanding washed over me, and then you can walk in that peace. You can live in that peace. Now, in another video I did, I believe it was yesterday's video, I talked about how sometimes people don't know how to live in healing. They don't know how to live different than they have. They've experienced so much survival mode or so much challenges through life that living in peace and being what I may say normal, just functioning normally without having tragedies going on inside of you and deep negative thoughts that steer your decision making and addictions and just emotional moodiness and all that stuff. Some people have done that for so long, myself included, where when it's time to heal from that and it's time to break those habits, you don't know what that life looks like. So again, I will go back to, what's your purpose? Okay? Now, don't be discouraged by this if you don't have a purpose. Don't be discouraged by this, because the first step in finding your purpose is recognizing that you need a purpose. So this sounds a little weird, but your purpose is purpose. Your purpose is to find your purpose right now, and that's it. That's enough. And you can be patient and you can rest knowing that there is a purpose for you. If you're still alive, if you woke up this morning, okay, you have a purpose. You have a purpose that's probably bigger than what you're even able to fathom right now, okay? And don't be afraid of that, but open yourself up to it. The bigger your purpose is, the more healing you're going to experience. The greater your capacity to believe in a purpose that's bigger than you, the greater your suffering is going to be released. And so this is something that you may need to lay your life down. Lay down maybe the dream you have and the dream you've been building and working on and believing is the right dream. I don't know. This is not a one and done kind of a mold that's going to work the same for everybody. All right. But maybe that dream that you have, that thing that you're believing in, is too small. Okay. And that, again, is going to leave you feeling conflicted inside, and you're always going to feel like a trauma is happening, because there is a trauma happening, because you were made for more, because you serve a bigger God than that, who has bigger dreams than you could even imagine. All right? The Bible says, eye has not seen nor ear heard what God has in store for those that love him. And so today, this can be a turning point in your life when you begin to embrace a new purpose for yourself and a dream that is bigger than anything you've ever thought of. Think of this. Who are the people? What are the situations that you see that break your heart? What breaks your heart? Is it orphans? Is it people who are starving? Is it widows? Is it marriages that are falling apart? Is it teenagers that are falling away from the church? Is it people that need healing? Is it people that are struggling with suicidal thoughts? Is it people who have been through abuse Is it people who have been abandoned and forgotten by the world? Well, I know all of those things stir me up and get me sad, and I feel for them, but there's certain types of those people that are especially, some people it's animals, or some people it's nature and planting trees and rebuilding our world and our environment. That's valid. That's a valid thing to have a dream for. So what is the thing that breaks your heart? That's where you're going to find your purpose. What is the thing that emotionally stirs you up and gets you all messed up inside? That's where you're going to find your purpose. But have a different level of confidence as you begin to seek it out this time. What is the greatest possible outcome from your life? What could happen if you had all the resources in the world? If God just sent his angels and just blessed you with everything you needed, what is the greatest outcome? What could you do for this world? What could you do for your community? What could you do for yourself and your family? What could you do for the world? That's your purpose. And it's bigger than what you've ever thought of. It's big. It's a big purpose, okay? You're smarter, you're more powerful, and you're more able because of what God has done in you than you think. So that's today's message, is your purpose now is to find a purpose. And when you do, when you latch onto that purpose, nurture it, water it, believe in it, and ask God to come in and do it and win that battle for you. And if you do it with God, if you do it filled with faith, if you do it believing it's already happened and that you've already won it and you've already accomplished it, and now you just got to see it through, that purpose will be manifested in your world and around you and in your community. And let me tell you, depression is nothing compared to that. Sadness, despair, heaviness melts away, because in the face of a purpose, of a person filled with purpose, you can't have your body will just flush it all out. All the trauma will fade, and you will begin to walk in a new level of destiny and joy and peace. So that's what I have today. I wanted to read today's devotional. Beloved, my word must be your firm foundation. With a word I formed you, spoke the entire world into existence. Today, it is still the power of these words that holds everything together. And now you must too discover the unending strength in my absolute truth of my word. My word is your strength, your shield, your sharp weapon against the enemy. It is the light that pierces through the darkness of his camp. And yes, even the obscurity of your own soul. My word and my will are one. So let's pause here. My word and my will are one. His will for your life is your purpose. Okay? So this is one with your purpose. Think about that. And I have given you my word to understand how to divide truth rightly, how to distinguish the truth. It is the source of joy, love, and wisdom in the very definition of truth. Because I and my word are one, it is alive, calling out to you to dive into its depths and swim within its safety. I have given you my word so that you will always have treasure to unearth and mysteries to unravel. Unite your heart with mine, meditate upon my word, and let it flood you with life. I didn't even know about this, and to me, these two things work together, the thing I talked about in this. So the scripture at the bottom is from John chapter 1 verse 3. I don't love this translation, so I'm going to read it from my Bible here. You know it. In the beginning, the Word already existed. It was with God, and He was God. He was in the beginning with God. He created everything there is. Nothing exists that He didn't make. I'm going to just go on another verse here. Life itself was in Him, and this life gives light to everyone. The light shines through the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. I hope you got something out of this today. Of course, subscribe, like, comment below. I love you. I'm believing in your purpose. I'm believing in you today. So, thanks again for stopping by.